there, it's Cherie from Cherie's Craft Girls. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm going to make this lovely no glue bag. You can glue it, it's entirely up to you, but you don't have to. So what I mean by that is we undo the ribbon and we take it out, and there we are. It's a no glue bag. You can glue these sections down and then that'll hold your bag together, but you don't have to. I'm not going to bow that back together because it'll take me for ages, but this is one I did that it is glued. It's not finished, it's just to show you that if you want it sealed you can, and there's plenty of room for lots and lots of chocolates. So for this you're going to need a 12" by 12" piece of cardstock, or you could use DSP if you don't want to use the added DSP for the front, the back and the top. You could make it in designer series paper and then, or just print your cardstock. But if you're going to use the DSP you're going to need 2 pieces for the front and back that measure 3 3/4 by 3 1/4, and a piece that measures 3 1/4 by 1 inch. Now if you have a pattern, like with this one I wanted the leaves to go up, you need it to be the 3 3/4 you need in height and your 3 1/4 in width, and the same for here. This I wanted the leaves to go in the arc upwards, so the width of that is 3 1/4 but the height is 1 inch. So if you do have a designated pattern, be aware of those. So I'll pop that to one side. It's a little bit fiddly, but I think it's well worth it. So taking your scoring tool, and we are going to start scoring at let me see, 1/2 inch, 4 1/4, 7 3/4, and 11 1/2. And you're going to turn so that your 1/2 inch is at the top, and we're going to start with the middle section. So fold it in half on the first, the middle score line, which will be your second, and you're going to notch at 3 7/8 and 6 1/4. Now open that back out and then score just that middle section. So it'll be from the second to the third score line. Okay, and then in this 1/2 inch section at the top, no, I'll tell you what we'll do before we do that. Yeah, no, we'll do this. At your 1/2 inch section at the top, we're going to do 4 3/4 and 5 3/8, and then you're going to score at 10 1/8, and you're going to go from top to bottom, 10 3/4, top to bottom. Then flip your card over, and you're going to, just in your 1/2 inch section, you're going to do 4 3/4 to the first score line, and 5 3/8, and again just to that first section. Now I'm just going to redo those at the bottom just so they will all match. Pop that to one side. Now we've got some diagonal score lines to do, and my husband has run off with my steel rule, so I'm going to have to use my plate off my Big Shot. So where you've done your little two notches in your 1/2 inch to your middle section, you're going to just diagonally score. So from your middle section to your little tab section, and score. and do that on the opposite side as well. Talk about improvise, but I'd forgotten he'd borrowed it and not returned it. But we don't all have steel rulers, so that's what I've used. And that's all the scoring. So now all we're going to do is we'll just come in and fold and burnish just our solid straight score lines at the moment. So our 1/2 inch one, and this is dapper denim that I'm using, and I'm going to use the Moroccan DSP paper. So once we've done all our folding and burnishing, and you've got to be very careful with your 2 in the centre, because you only want to score on the centre section. So just gently fold it and then burnish. Now I'm going to use my scoring board because we're going to do some diagonal cutting, and we're going to start with the section. This section has no extra score lines, and this section has 2. You've got your thicker rectangle and a thinner rectangle. Ignoring the first score line, come into the second score line and cut down to the second score line, and come to the next score line and down to the second score line. That is the top of your bag. Then turn around to where you have your diagonals, and you're just going to cut in to those 2 there, and on the opposite side, like so. And then I find you can do it with the scissors if you feel confident enough. I'm going to use my scoring board because I would like the neater cut. So fold in your top of your bag and your tab of your bag, and align where it cuts here into the groove, along with the groove there, and you're just going to trim off the whole of that section, like so. Turn, and keeping your tab down, you're going to come to the end of your cardstock and align that to the groove, and repeat, and you're going to cut off that corner, and do that all the way around. So where this score line comes to the end, match it to your groove, fold in your tab and match that with the groove, and trim off. And I just like the neatness. I say you can use scissors, that's fine. I just think it's quicker and easier with the scoring board, and it gives you a nice neat end. So we'll put that to the side now, and you are going to bring in the side and reinforce your score line, and now do your diagonal score line. So just now reinforce your diagonal score lines. That's why I didn't do them earlier, because it's so much easier to do it now that we have cut that excess off. Okay, and once we've done that, we're going to fold the side in, the sides in like so. So you've got the tab, top or bottom, it's entirely up to you. And this score line, your diagonal score line, you're going to bring over to meet this score, the edge score line, like so. And then just fold and burnish. Let's make sure it's nice and square. Fold and burnish the triangle inside, and that'll give you a little flap. And you do that all the way around. So bring the diagonal score line over to your edge score line, and fold and burnish the corner inside. Bring this in, diagonal to edge, fold and burnish, and your last one, diagonal to side and fold and burnish inside. Now there is your box made, and that's why I say you don't have to glue it. There's your bag made. Now this little extra you don't have to. You could leave it perfectly like that, that's fine, or you could trim in here, but I'm going to bring in my envelope punch board, and where it meets you have the little two sections for your grooves, and you have a little section that dips, and that's I'm going to put my score line right in the centre of there, and it's about 3 inches, and I'm just going to punch, and I do that on all 4 sides. So yeah, it's about 3 1/8, something like that. Punch. And so you don't have to do this, it just takes some of the bulk of the bag away. So just pop it in the centre, about 3 inches, put that out of the way, remove those, and now we're ready to adhere our cards, DSP. So I'm going to use my Project Life corner rounder on my front of my bag, and I'm just going to do my tabs. Now with the tabs, I just try and align it. It won't match completely, but I'm just going to round it a little bit. You don't have to, it's just personal preference. I just wanted to make it look a little bit nicer on the inside, so you just wiggle it until it aligns ish, and so it doesn't line completely, and I don't know why it won't move, it's got itself jammed. So about something like that. Well, that was a nice one, wasn't it? Right, so this is the top of your bag, so we'll start with that one. And again, I'm just going to use, because I've rounded the edges here, 2 of the corners I'm just going to round, and then I'm just going to use some snail, or you can use fast fuse or Tombow sticky strip, whichever adhesive you like. And I'm just going to pop that in there, leaving a nice little border all the way around. And then one of our strips we're going to pop on the lid. That's going to be the back of our box. So if you've got a pattern like this one has, make sure your pattern is facing the right way that you want it to go. This hasn't, so it's not too bad. I'm just going to put some adhesive around the edge, and I'm going to pop it on. And the back has a tiny weeny little border, nice and straight. And then the front, again making sure your pattern's the correct way. This hasn't particularly got a pattern, so I'm just going to pop some adhesive around and pop that on, making sure you leave a nice little border at the sides. It just about fits from top to bottom of this one. And there, move some of this all out of the way. I tell you what I haven't cut. I haven't cut a strip for the handle, which is 3 3/4. So we want 3 3/4. Let's just square this up a little bit. Hoping I can get it out of here. I want an inch width. What do I want? Half an inch. 3 3/4. I want 5 inches. So we're going to have to use a piece of dapper denim. Oh, I bet I haven't got a dapper denim. Oh dear, I'm going to have to use a whole sheet. Sacrilege! So it's 5 inches and it's half an inch in width. So I'm just going to cut this down half an inch there. inch off a full sheet. Oh, that is very naughty. And we're going to cut that down to 5 inches. Like so. And we're going to score it at 3/4 of an inch on each end. So it's 3/4 of an inch there. And 3/4 of an inch that end. So that's, whoops, that's that all out of the way. So as I say, that's your bag. Now you can seal it, glue it, or leave it like so. I'm now going to put some, let's just glue the handle, shall we? So just fold and burnish your 1/2 inch, your 3/4 inch mark, and pop in some snail or whichever adhesive you're using from the score line to the end, and you literally just pop that so it aligns on the edge of your bag, and it will naturally form the handle for you, like so. And I'm going to use, same as I did on this one, you can use pearls, dots, you could use a brad if you want. I'm going to use these lovely metal rimmed pearls. The green one I used, the small one, I might use, let's have a look if the big one's going to be too big. Yes, so I'm going to use the medium ones on this one. So take 2 medium ones. But you can use whatever embellishments you have at hand. Pop the backing paper off. And pop that on your bag. And just take the backing paper off and pop them on your bag. You could use a brad, and I suggest if you use a brad, so just secure your handle, use a strip to cover your brad pieces inside. But that's the bag. So now I'm just going to use a hand punch and punch 2 holes, and lucky enough this has got some on the pattern, a nice bit for me to line up with. And then bringing my bag together, I'm now going to try and mark, which is going to be a bit awkward because the paper's quite dark, so I'll use a pen, hopefully it'll mark the paper sufficient for me to actually be able, yes, I can just about see where that's gone. And then using the punch again, that's one. Oh, where's the other one? Just there on that black one, like so. And getting some ribbon. I should have some dapper denim. And we are going to move all this junk out of the way. And we'll cut a little point here, and we'll go down the front, over the actual front of the bag, and go through the first hole, come out of the second hole, and come up on the underside of there. Now do make sure that you've put your sweeties or goodies or prezzy inside your bag before you tie your ribbon. I'm going to cut that off about there and tie a pretty little bow, or attempt to tie a pretty little bow. Although this ribbon is very forgiving for me, and I do manage to make a reasonable bow most times. Come on, out you come. There we are. That's not too bad a bow. No, I'm not going to cut it because I'm going to put some goodies in there. But there we are. I'll see if I can quickly pop this under there. So I can grab that one and this one. Pop that through. Tie this bag back up with a little bow. And there you have two really quick, very simple little bags. This bow's not going to be so good, I don't think, but it's a bow. There we are. I've got my junk out of the way. There we are. Two very quick, very simple little bags to make. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please like and subscribe. Leave me a comment, I'd love to hear from you. Any of the products that I've used in this project you can purchase from my online shop. There's a link below. Until next time, take care. Bye.